Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Hydrogen and Fuel Cells Europe Public Forum here at the Hannover Messe 2023. Please have a seat, have a drink, and enjoy yourself while we have a nice talk here for you today. So, this afternoon I will be speaking about the next generation of storage solutions for mobility applications, together with Hexagon Purus' Global Sales Director, Jørn Helge Dahl. Jørn, please come to the stage. Hi, Jørn. Welcome.
Hi.
Please have a seat.
Thanks.
So, Jørn, I believe this is not your first rodeo here at the H2FC.
No, it's not the first one, and it's a pleasure to be back. I was here the first time in 2016, and just to see the growth since then is marvelous.
Great. Can you tell me a bit more about Hexagon Purus? What do you guys do? Where do you come from?
Just to start with, we are one of the global leaders of hydrogen storage. We have a long history, but the company Hexagon Purus is actually not so old. We established this company in 2020 as a spin-off from Hexagon Composite. So it's all about hydrogen storage into many different applications, which we'll talk more about. Right?
Great. And what made you guys do this spin-off from Hexagon Composites to Hexagon Purus?
Yeah, so it was a kind of a need to focus, especially on the hydrogen side. We have been studying hydrogen within Hexagon Composites since the early 2000s. I can mention that we delivered the first 700 bar cylinder for the Mercedes F-Cell back in 2007. We made even stationary storage tanks for a refueling station, 500 bar, 950 bar in 2008. But in the second wave of hydrogen, when we saw that it's really now coming as an industry, we thought it makes sense, and we started with a hydrogen business unit within Composite. And then we came to the spin-off in 2020.
Great. And how large is the spin-off now? How many people are you employing?
Yeah, so the scale is actually what we want to talk about today. And we started out with a small business unit, 10 people maybe in 2016. When we spun off in 2020, it was already a global company with different people on different continents. Today we are 575 people, and we are growing more or less every month.
Wow, that's great to hear. And what's your role in Hexagon Purus? What
Today I have a position as overseeing the global sales in the distribution infrastructure part. That means mainly sales outside Europe. I also look a little bit after some key accounts in Europe, which I have been actively working with for some years. In addition, I do business development. It comes to maritime, for instance, new application, new areas where we want to focus.
Great. And you mentioned already that you have some very ambitious growth plans. Can you please elaborate on this a bit?
Yeah, so for us, this year is the year of scale. So we are actually opening up 5 new facilities this year. We started, if we go from west to east, we started in US, in Westminster in Maryland, opening a brand new facility there. That will mainly produce and serve the North American storage market. That goes for a different application. It could be mobility. It's also even aerospace. And then we have in Canada, an opening coming up quite soon in Kelowna.
And what about Europe?
And what about Europe?
The people here are probably very interested in what you're doing in Europe.
So not far away from here, Hannover, in Kassel, we will open up a new greenfield facility this summer. So we are then entering the next stage of scaled production for 700 bar. Our focus product there will be a heavy-duty line for 700 bar larger cylinders. And I think it will be one of the greatest steps in terms of automation for this kind of products. So that is Kassel. And then we have another one, also in Germany. So we acquired the company Wystrach in November 2021. And since then, this business has grown tremendously. So we need to increase the capacity there as well. And we are already started, and we will complete that capacity increase towards the end of the year and open that facility as well.
Wow, very, very cool to see so many projects also taking off in Europe. But if we think manufacturing, my mind always goes a bit further east. So are you guys also doing anything in Asia?
We're also doing something in Asia. So in Asia, and specifically in China, we are setting up a joint venture together with CMIC Enric. And there we will have two joint ventures actually. One producing cylinders. As you may know, Type 4 has been abandoned in the Chinese market for quite some years, but it's now coming back. Firstly for the automotive and then later for distribution products. So here we have a separate cylinder manufacturing joint venture. And in addition, we have a joint venture for the assembly, making systems. And all these are opening throughout this year, 2023.
Wow, very, very cool to see so many things happening in your company. I would also like to invite the audience to please, if you have any questions, raise your hand or maybe give me a wink, and then I'll make sure to come to you so you can ask your questions. In the meantime, what kind of products are you guys producing? What is it that you bring to the market?
So if we start by the basics, we have diversified into two business areas, if you may. So we have the infrastructure that is serving everything has to do with bringing up a value chain for the whole hydrogen space. And then we have hydrogen mobility. So if we go into mobility, you can imagine everywhere where you need a fuel tank, whether that is a car, a truck, rail, any kind of application that moves, will have a need for onboard storage, and that's where we play in the mobility. Pressure range 250 bar to 700 bar.
Well, and I already hear you mention this real value chain approach. So I believe then you need some good partners, right? Do you have any partners that you would like to give a shout out to here?
We have many partners. We have many customers. So if we go by, let's say, application by application, we can name the most prominent names. We can walk through that. But I just want to also mention our infrastructure part. So we see a lot of investments now into the value chain of infrastructure. So with the acquisition of Wystrach, we have a complete setup with storage solution for transport of gas. You have maybe heard others talk about transport solutions as well, but we have a widespread portfolio coming from 300 bar to 500 bar, all sizes 10 to 45 feet. In addition to that, we also deliver the mobile refueling, a tank station on wheel for small fleet refueling, which has been very, very popular.
Wow, and is this product, so the mobile refueling, is this also something people can see here at the fair?
Absolutely, we have a small part of that setup over at our booth, so this is something they can see and we can talk about more there.
Ah, great. And so you already told me about these very ambitious growth plans that you have, right? How are you able to expand so rapidly? How do you get enough capital to do so?
So when we established Hexagon Purus and spun this off in 2020, we raised some initial capital. We went on the Oslo Stock Exchange and we listed at the Euronext Growth. But we had some key milestones last month in March. We did another capital increase that went oversold on the same day. And we also got a very important strategic investor on board, namely Mitsui. And Mitsui is bringing kind of the legacy also from Hexagon Composite as they invested into Composite in 2016.
Well, congratulations on getting all of this funding. I would once again like to ask the audience if you have any questions. That was a bit tricky. I saw a camera going up, so I thought it was a question. But maybe I can see some of the faces asking themselves, can we already buy your product? Can we already buy your tanks at this moment?
Absolutely. Some of these are, let's say, on-the-shelf products now. We are still making special development for special, let's say, project clients, but we have a long list of products which are available for sale already. And we have seen what I talked about in the infrastructure. We are oversold this year and next year almost, so it's really busy. And that's why we have done this for many years. We have a lot of maturity into our product lines already.
Wow, wow. So people really, they have to get in line in order to get your...
For some of the products, but I still welcome everyone to come and ask.
Yeah, yeah, of course. And of course, it's quite obvious that you're not the only manufacturer here at the fair. What do you think sets Hexagon Purus apart? What makes you special, and why should the people here come to you?
So one of the key elements is that we have a long track record. Coming from Hexagon Composite, we have 6 decades of Type 4 composite pressure vessel experience. This gives us a track record which I think is uncomparable with any others. We have around about 800,000 high pressure cylinders out in the field. And that's the key, that's the core product, the storage. And in addition, we have developed now with partners, with companies, we have acquired also a very neat system competence.
Wow, so you're not only doing hydrogen compressed storage tanks, if I understand that correctly.
Correct. So if you think about this as e-mobility, it's electric vehicles, right? An electric drivetrain. And the first generation of cars and trucks, they are just battery electric. So in North America, we are asked by the truck OEMs to actually make a full integration of an e-truck or an electric truck. And that is kind of a good stepping stone to also include fuel cell and hydrogen storage at a later generation to increase the range. So this is a good part.
Great, great. And what is maybe the biggest challenge that you face in bringing hydrogen storage tanks to the market? I often hear that certification is a big issue. Is that an issue for you as well?
So that's an issue for everyone, but of course, once you have done this many times, as we have now, you kind of know by experience what to do and when. The time-consuming part is maybe to get access to external facilities, test houses, etc., to go through the different homologation steps. And that is kind of a barrier for everyone. To overcome some of that, we also include a lot of the testing in-house, witnessed by certifying, notifying bodies.
Wow, that's super smart to take it in-house, so you're not dependent on the external parties. I also imagine that the experience you bring from other sectors, I believe you're also in CNG, so the compressed natural gas. Does that help with the
the experience from, let's say, our mother company? So Hexagon Composite is still a major shareholder, around about 68% in Hexagon Purus. And that experience, of course, is something we take advantage of in the storage technology, but also in the system building. To put together a bus rack system for CNG or hydrogen is much the same, 250 bar on CNG, 350 bar on hydrogen. So otherwise, the components are mainly the same.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And then maybe a final question: why should people come to your stand? What can they see there? What can they experience?
So at our stand, I think the most interesting part is maybe to see our containerized setup. We have a small 5-feet module, but that explains the concept. You can see it real life with the cylinders. You can see the gas manifold. Some interesting key elements, smart technology on the containers, which we'll bring to the market in the years to come now.
Yeah, and I already had a quick look myself as well. And what I really like is that it's not renders on a piece of paper, but it's really tanks that you can physically have a look at and see and touch with your own hands, which is always very nice. Well, thank you for being here with me today, Jørn.
It was a pleasure.
If you have any questions for Jørn, please visit them just behind Norway at stand D14. And thank you for being here today.
Thank you for the nice interview. Thank you.